All right, YouTube. Once again, it's Kennard Vernon Stewart here for the podcast. We're talking Auburn football, a lot of transfer portal news that is floating around. Auburn has been the beneficiary of a lot of transfers here in the last few weeks. And on the docket, we have Donovan Kaufman, who is out of New Orleans, Louisiana, was thought to be one of the better players of his recruiting class back in 2019. Committed to Derek Mason up in Vanderbilt, so it meant he had to be a pretty smart guy because you can't be an idiot to go to Vanderbilt. So he's got to be smart. He's very athletic, but now he's hit the transfer portal for several reasons. He had an illness. Of course, a lot of it seems like the transfer portal has been a pretty popular thing. I got Scottie Boyd from the All About Auburn sports page, who has become a catalyst to a lot of recruiting news. And as always, it's great to be an Auburn Tiger, War Eagle. Scottie, how you doing, man?
Hey, I'm good, brother, and War Eagle.
War Eagle. So now, as Donovan Kaufman, former Vanderbilt Commodore, only played 2 games before being sidelined with not injury, but with an illness, has hit the transfer portal and now set to make his decision in about an hour. What do you make of all of this, especially considering Auburn doesn't seem to be doing too bad on defense, considering what they've been able to get from the transfer portal? And I really like who it seems like Donovan Kaufman's competition is going to be, and that's Ladarius Tennyson.
Right. Like I said, with him coming in from Vanderbilt, I think the relationship with him and Derek Mason is going to play a key role for us. But we just also can't overlook what Texas is also bringing. He has a relationship with a couple of Texas staffers, not actually on-field coaches, and I think that may be a big turning point for him. It's different whenever you're a staffer and you're not a coach on the field. Even though they're vouching for him, I think for him the biggest thing is going to be that he's played for Derek Mason, he understands Derek Mason, and he's played in his system, which would make it a lot easier for him to transition into. And the competition, like you said, we're pretty stacked on defense. And I'm like you, I think with Ladarius Tennyson, man, it's going to be a good competition, a good battle. But the thing about Kaufman, man, he's very versatile. So we can use him, at the safety position, or we can also slide him down to the nickel as well. So, the sky's the limit for that kid. And I think whoever gets him, whether it's us or Texas, we're going to get someone's going to get a true gem to solidify their defense.
I think it's pretty interesting too, as you cover a lot of the recruiting aspects of, especially off season with college football. Auburn finds themselves not only in heated battles with their own SEC counterparts, but it seems like a lot of their flips come from teams like Texas, teams like Miami, teams like Florida State. What do you make of those types of things, and how Auburn is always seeming to be in these really consequential battles with teams that don't even have anything to do with the SEC?
Right. I think, with the new coaching staff, and like I said, I still go back to what Harsin said, his footprint for recruiting is going to be all over the place. And he said he was not stopping just with recruiting alone, but the transfer portal was going to be key as well. I think, too, with a lot of the, with the new coaching staff and what they're hearing and seeing with the new coaching staff at Auburn, a lot of kids are looking for a change, looking for the opportunity. And one thing I love about this coaching staff is that they said that everyone will compete. There is no such thing as favoritism as we've seen over the previous years with, our last regime where it was favoritism. The best players weren't always on the field. And I just feel like a lot of those kids at other universities are looking at having an opportunity to come into Auburn, a big program like Auburn, to compete at a much higher level with more, publicity there. And, we got to look at it too. We're putting more kids in the league as well now as well. And that's very enticing. And I think one of the big key catalysts for us right now is the, coaching experience and the talk of development. That's something that we've been missing out at Auburn for a very, very long time. And you look at the coaches that we have on staff, all of them have a history of developing players and getting them to that next level. And I think that's really what's playing a key part for us. And like I said, I think he's not afraid to step in other people's back door to let them know that, hey, I'm here at Auburn now, and we will be in recruiting battles from this day forward. Now, I love his attitude.
You definitely have to really respect the attitude of Brian Harsin. Seems like a really no nonsense kind of guy. Seems to have at least the intangibles to piece together a respectable Power Five program that could potentially compete for the SEC West championship, quite possibly the SEC championship in a few years, and maybe even as development, starts to happen, maybe upper, going to the upper echelon of the college football playoff. I really like the attitude of this coaching staff. It seems like there's a very youthful approach. If you look at the prior coaching staff, they were a bunch of old guys. They were a bunch
Right.
of guys that were at the twilight of their careers. And as you
Right.
get to the twilight of your career, even with Kevin Steele, with how he was able to still, game plan and do different things, I think these kids can better relate to this particular recruiting staff. This particular coaching staff, in a way that the prior coaching staff would not have been able to reach these guys. And as we get to the commitment that's going to happen here in a few minutes, Donovan Kaufman, I think, is a very talented athlete. I was looking at some video footage on him as well. He's a very tenacious football player, especially in the intermediate portion of the football field. He's not particularly a big guy, but he plays big.
Right.
And what do you think as we close here? As because you seem to survey these guys and you throw names at us continuously in the All About Auburn group. What is it that stands out to you from Donovan Kaufman that makes you think? Let's just take Texas out of the equation.
Mm-hmm.
What makes you think that no matter what decision that he makes, why is Auburn the final two outside of Derek Mason? Because we know he has a relationship with Derek Mason. But what do you think he sees even outside of that for Auburn as to why he would make Auburn a team that's competing in the same conference with Alabama, LSU, Georgia? Why would he come to Auburn instead of going to Texas? Because it seemed like Texas might be the easier choice.
I think, the kid said something when I watched him do an interview one day. He said something about the first thing about him is he's a football player. And he's not afraid of competition. And he wants to get on the scene to show that he's not afraid of competition. Coming to Auburn, he understands that there's guys going to be there ahead of him that's, been there for a while. And I'm pretty sure that he has taken the time to really study film. And in his mind, he feels he can come there and possibly win a starting position. And you went back to something, I'm going to go back to something earlier when you said, I think with the coaching staff alone, they're young and they're more relatable. You hear all of our kids even saying the same thing, is that how exciting it is once again to be playing at Auburn. That they relate to the coaching staff, the energy is there and stuff like that. And I just feel that, with Kaufman, like I said, he said first and foremost, he's a football player. And a true football player wants to come to a program where, like I said, they can be on the big screen and come in there and compete for a starting position, man. And I just think that the kid, if we land him, it's going to be a huge, huge pickup for us. And it's just going to solidify the defense that we already got in place. So my fingers are crossed that we grab him. But if not, then, I wish the young man well wherever he goes and stuff. But, yeah, that's my take on it.
The crystal ball take the idea of 100% Donovan Kaufman coming to Auburn. The decision is going to be made in about 50 minutes, and we're going to see where Donovan Kaufman goes. This will be a huge gain along with Tony Fair. Right. And, I think this will be a great situation for Auburn if they're able to land this guy, and the perception of being able to gain a commitment over such a blue blood program like the Texas Longhorn. All right, guys.
Absolutely.
Scottie Boyd, I finally got him on here. We're going to have some more transfer and recruiting news from Scottie Boyd, who obviously is very knowledgeable in what he covers with the All About Auburn sports page. Scottie, do you have any closing thoughts?
Well, like I said, we'll sit and wait and see what happens at 3 o'clock here in a few minutes. And I'm praying that he becomes an Auburn Tiger and War Eagle.
Yes, sir. War Eagle. You got about 48 minutes before he makes that commitment. All right, guys, go ahead and like this video. Let me know what you think about this particular video and Scottie Boyd, who has emerged as one of our recruiting analysis. Go ahead and like the video, comment, and subscribe. And as always, it's great to be an Auburn Tiger, War Eagle.